Hello, everybody. Rob McCarran here alongside Jeff Hawkins for the second day in a row. But this one, for the special Shake Them Ropes little mini episode, certainly unplanned. Certainly unplanned, Jeff, because big news is happening.
FIFA, man.
I know.
Can you believe it?
We have to talk about the indictments. We have to talk about the extradition proceedings.
All right, let's cut this off. Get to the chase.
Ring of Honor TV is going to be appearing on Destination America. Yes, that Destination America. Earlier today, on a Wednesday that had been a slow day, the biggest news story today in the first half of the day was the fact that Rusev might possibly be injured. And then Destination America changed the game.
Yes.
Tweeting out at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon with no teasing from any party beforehand, Destination America just tweeted out that Ring of Honor TV was debuting next week, Wednesday, June 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern on Destination America. And the entire world just let out a collective, what is going on?
Is this a hoax? Were they hacked?
People were thinking there might have been a hack. People were thinking like this can't be true. You know, obviously.
Look at the belt on Jay Lethal. That can't be right. Yeah.
It's the World TV title. No belts on Jay Briscoe. You have, a lot of people taking a lot of different angles with this. You know, Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe will be the most popular people on that TV show because they fit almost any show possible on the network. Ring of Honor TV is going to be not just coming on to Destination America, but of course, Destination America, the home currently of TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
They will be the lead-in for TNA Impact starting on Wednesday, June 3rd, as TNA will go 2 hours from 9 to 11. So Ring of Honor is coming. And first, your overall reactions when you first heard this news before we get some of the details out there.
Kids, you know how I came home from the honeymoon with your new mom? Well, I met a younger, cheaper, less whiny mom on the honeymoon. I'd like to introduce you to her. Have you met Ring of Honor? Yeah. It blows my mind because you hear about ad revenues and all these things playing into the TNA cancellation news. And then, wow, more wrestling. Okay. I thought it might be a merger at first or a working agreement because, I mean, Ring of Honor has working relationships with, their talent is going to do Global Force and New Japan and various things. And you're like, well, okay, what does this mean? But it's just one of those things where you look at it and you go, is this some sort of joke on all of us? And it's not. And it's fascinating.
It's certainly fascinating. We'll get into some of the details here. We do have a caller calling in as we are live at voicesofwrestling.com/STR, 972 area code. Your name and where are you calling from? Are you there, caller?
Speak.
Dave, Dan Hernandez from Dallas, Texas. Can you hear me?
Yes, Danny, we can hear you now. Your thoughts on Ring of Honor debuting next week on Destination America?
Well, when TNA went to Destination America, I don't get that channel. But recently, maybe 3 weeks ago, Ring of Honor syndication came to Dallas. So, for me, I'm still watching Ring of Honor and the Dallas local station, but it does help when Ring of Honor in New York and Los Angeles. I don't think they have them. That's something. But the bigger problem is not too many homes have that channel. But I think it's because it's so cheap for Destination America with ad revenue. I think it's a better viable option than what they're paying for TNA at the moment. So maybe in September, maybe they can restructure with TNA or whatever, so they can both still be on the channel. But now it's a good move more for Ring of Honor than anything else, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, a good move for Ring of Honor. Danny, I want to thank you so much for the call. We're going to address some of these points here. They're going to Destination America now. The big difference here between TNA's only outlet in the United States right now is Destination America. That's not the case for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is still going to have their existing syndication deals. They're still going to be on Nessun. They're going to be on the channels they're already on right now. So
it's the same episodes.
They
correct?
are adding, adding another clearance here in Destination America. So it's not their only outlet. They're adding to their already, to the viewers like Danny, who is in a market that has it over the air. that can watch it, that don't, even if they don't have the Destination American channel, they're not missing out of Ring of Honor. For those who are a member of the Ring of Honor services, you can still watch the TV shows online.
I don't have Sinclair here, so I have no other way, unless illegal or internet.
Right. Some people will
to get it.
Some people have the option to watch on Sinclair. Some people have the option to watch on Destination America. It's just another option for you. And the fact that they have all these options now does make them a larger footprint in the United States than TNA had. So that one thing that some TNA fans or some who held the belief that TNA was still a number 2 promotion in the United States, the sole reason they had to hang their hat on is now gone. Ring of Honor has the largest footprint of possible viewership aside from WWE here in the United States. They have the largest outlet.
Now, do you know, I know this is springing this on you real quick, and the answer is probably no, but the comparison between this and HDNet, or the channel formerly known as HDNet / now it's known as Access, does Destination America have like more clearances on more systems than HDNet did at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Destination America is larger than HDNet, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Not by a whole lot, but they are larger than HDNet. And this is going to be a 26-week deal. Keep making that mistake. Made that before this call started. 26-week deal, 6 months. In 6 months, they can reevaluate, see if the partnership is working. That does make them on TV longer potentially than TNA. Now, this could mean that Destination America is going to keep TNA on TV until November. That could be possible, to where there's that combo. You just make Wednesday the wrestling night on Destination America, because fans are getting excited about wrestling on Wednesdays. And Destination America has the largest footprint on Wednesday nights. They are in more homes than Lucha Underground is on El Rey. They're in more homes than NXT is, as far as people who actually watch it, especially live. I mean, not a lot of people are watching that show live. You know what I mean? So they're in more homes here. Ring of Honor has the merchandising deal. Earlier this week, they just announced for the first time their set of action figures. Now, they had that deal back all the way until November, I believe it was. So they're finally getting some of this merchandise out there. They have home video. They're online. They have a pretty good presence. They're a touring group. One of the things that TNA can't say they are, TNA hasn't toured since January. Since January, that's the last time they've had a paying fan come to see one of those shows.
Now, in Destination America's eyes, and this is purely hypothetical on your part, is this supposed to be a complementary relationship or an adversarial relationship? In Destination America's view.
Oh, complimentary.
You're serious? You think they're going to actually keep TNA around, or they're just not?
Well, they're not going to.
Or they're not testing the waters with ROH to keep one and ditch the other.
I think it's a mixture of both, because this deal has been worked on for a long time. Okay. It's been worked on for probably even since Destination America was somewhat happy with TNA. This didn't come about in the last week. So one, you want to make a wrestling night. You think about, okay, we can put, and maybe it was for Friday night. They wanted to see what Ring of Honor would bring. So you bring Ring of Honor in. You have a 3-hour block on any night during the week to have wrestling. They could be using it as a, what would happen here? Does ROH provide us more value? They're going to certainly be cheaper than TNA. They're cheaper.
You just said something that blew my mind just now. Hold on. This negotiation has been going on since they were happy with TNA.
They could have been. They might have been disenfranchised with TNA in the first month. But this has been going on for at least a couple of months here. And
we never heard about it from anybody. How does... this is a business where nobody can keep their mouth shut. How does that happen?
Do you remember when there were rumors out there that Ring of Honor was working possibly with Spike to see about a special event series or some type of programming on Spike TV?
Yeah, vaguely.
That's about the time the talk started with other groups, including Destination America.
Okay.
Like, those rumors were out there.
The big question is, how do they differentiate now Ring of Honor from TNA in terms of advertising? Because they're not quite the same product. Don't get me wrong. But neither of them have a real hook to them. You know what I mean? It's just wrestling. And it's like, now they're almost interchangeable.
Yeah, well, I think Ring of Honor is going to bring a certain subset of fans. Now, they're going to be on Wednesday night, and maybe the buzz gets them more viewers than TNA that night. But for the next 6 months, TNA will have more viewers on Wednesdays on Destination America than Ring of Honor will.
Right.
That's what I foresee happening. I don't think Ring of Honor is going to have the highest ratings of any of these nights. Now, they'll have more viewers, most likely, when you throw in their syndication deals and their online viewership. They'll have more viewers watching their TV show, probably, than TNA. But you add in everything else that Ring of Honor does, and they're just, they're making more than what TNA is. I mean, TNA doesn't spend on anything right now.
Yeah, Ring of Honor has the advantage, and they have certain working agreements that are also a little bit more for hardcore wrestling fans. I mean, that New Japan deal, if you stick any of those shows on the network, you're going to get the hardcores over there. That'll be interesting. See how TNA counters that.
Yeah. And TNA may counter it. TNA may just be throwing in the towel. I mean, Dixie Carter is having a conference call that just ended with TNA talent, getting questions and whatnot. And we'll see if any information comes out on that from the TNA side.
Well, TNA talent, you're about to go into what I was going to say. TNA talent's not happy, or they weren't before the call.
Those who are actually invested are not happy. The James Storms, the MVPs,
Bobby Roode.
Yeah, those guys aren't happy. MVP was tweeting out hot fire. Surprised news. And Taz is tweeting out because he talks to those guys. And, these guys found out about this on Twitter. No one told them anything.
Well, yeah, MVP had basically said, I'm taking bookings.
It's possible that TNA didn't know what was going on either, because if you're Destination America, what you do with your TV schedule, especially if there's no non-compete agreement, or there's no exclusive agreement with TNA, what you do with your TV schedule doesn't really matter to TNA. Like, they didn't need TNA's permission to go sign Ring of Honor. They didn't need to give them a heads up.
And you know what? TNA in a million years never would have thought they needed a non-compete.
Well, they also didn't have the leverage to sign one. I mean, they didn't have the leverage to ask. I mean, they were desperate when this Destination America deal happened. And that's another key difference, because TNA was desperate for this agreement, whereas ROH isn't desperate, but they certainly would like to have it. They'd like to be in more national homes.
Yeah, you're desperate and you're looking, and Destination America comes calling. You're not thinking, wow, Destination America may add yet another wrestling program onto this network because we're a niche product on their network.
Mm-hmm. We have a story up at voicesofwrestling.com. Destination America and Ring of Honor surprise the world. We have another call on the line. Skype caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey,
Hello, go ahead.
Hello, this is Danny from Get in the Ring.
Hi, Danny. What's on your mind today regarding the Ring of Honor news with Destination America?
My God. It just sent shockwaves through my Twitter feed. It sent shockwaves through my Facebook feed. It sent shockwaves everywhere. And the real contention with this is where is Global Force going to go? Where is TNA going to go now that Destination...
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Danny. So Danny is the first one to bring up what is Global Force going to do, right?
Global Force was picking up scraps.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I mean, this would have been an ideal thing for Global Force, just to say you have TV and maybe potentially get that spot away from TNA. It would have been, giving you options.
Well, they're using guys from ROH.
That's the
who
problem.
Are on TV, and now all those guys are probably gonna have to be pulled, aren't they?
Well, they were never there. I mean, Moose wasn't
going to
be doing TV.
They're not going to be on the TV.
Exactly. And that also brings up the next question that a lot of us have is, sure, he has a sweet deal. Sure, Triple H is probably not worried about Samoa Joe working Ring of Honor. But now that they're on national TV and at the same time as his NXT show, unless it's already signed and nothing can be changed, I got to question whether Samoa Joe is going to be allowed to work TV, or if NXT will keep him. Because it works both ways, guys. It's not like, oh, NXT is not going to allow him to work TV, so he's off Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe may say, no, this is the deal I signed. Maybe I just won't be in NXT.
Yeah, and he can always go, you know what? Maybe add another 0 on the end of that check, guys.
Something
he has
will
bargaining
happen
power. He has something that wrestlers haven't had in so long. He has bargaining power.
He does now, especially because they tape some stuff with him on TV the night after TakeOver, but they haven't done the finish to any Kevin Owens Samoa Joe program yet. So depending on whether his deal is per date, whether he can't work ROH, he could easily say, I'm going to work ROH TV or I'm not going to come back to NXT. He does have a little bit of leverage here, but it'll be interesting to play out. Some on Twitter are saying that, because of the deal he signed, none of the news today about Ring of Honor going on to Destination America really affects Joe. Like, Joe can appear on both. It's likely not to stay that way. I don't think for long you're going to be seeing Samoa Joe on TV on Wednesday nights on 2 different channels for 2 different programs.
No, one's not going to stand.
It's just not what WWE does.
And the WWE can afford to cut losses if they have to.
Yeah, they certainly can. I mean, they've had worse. I mean, look, Sami Zayn's going to be out for a while. They had to cut some stuff they did with Sami Zayn. Hideo Itami's going to be out for a while. They've lost things.
Is that the end of the Adam Cole to NXT rumors for now also?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I think ROH is signing up some of these guys because they have, the whole reason with the Briscoes. Briscoes were on their way out. And then the TV deal is coming up and we're finally getting pen to paper here and we need some of these guys to stay on TV with us.
Yeah.
Think about how much Briscoes leverage was there once this deal was coming more closely together.
Are you kidding me? Jay Briscoe looking at this TV lineup going, I want to be on Pitmasters. Give me that. Mark Briscoe on the haunted house shows. Mm-hmm. This is money. Just print them.
Yeah, I know. It's just an interesting time. And I think that's all of it. Like, I don't really know if I want to be that guy who's breaking down every little thing and asking the questions before it plays out. Because this really is one of those things I just want to see play out. Right?
Yeah, let's keep it in perspective. We're all battling for silver here.
26 weeks of ROH TV on Destination America. For those who already watch the TV, nothing changes for you. You just have another option to watch it. For those of you in bigger cities who may not have had it over the air or may not have wanted to sign up for Ring of Honor's subscription service, you now can go on Destination America and watch this show. And maybe that'll get some fans to cross over. Maybe some TNA fans will watch Ring of Honor. Maybe some will watch TNA. And Destination America does do well with this news. 26 weeks. They're going to be on Nessun. They're going to be on their syndicated deals. They're going to be on Destination America. And you have TNA superstars reacting like MVP who figured this out on Twitter. You have Davey Richards, praising all the boys. Congratulations on getting a new outlet. Destination America sent out a press release acquiring the rights to Ring of Honor's weekly television, acquiring the rights to that TV so that they can air it. Pretty big cities, too. 57 million households. New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philly. All the places where you'd want your TV.
And the advantage ROH has is that Destination America will be in no way subsidizing them. They are self-sufficient right now.
Yeah, and they'll get some money, probably not a huge amount. Like, again, this is going to be some of their cheap programming. Ring of Honor is not asking for the money that TNA probably was asking for because TNA needed it. They had no other way to survive.
Oh, no.
TNA was desperate. They needed it. But Ring of Honor, the number 2 group in the United States, probably has been that way for a little while, but now it's cemented in. I mean, it's there. There's no way that even those who are on the most extreme part of the fringe can actually put a case for TNA together, that they're the number 2 group. And how good does Dalton Castle look in all this, turning down a TNA tryout deal to stay with Ring of Honor? And now, guess what? He's on Destination America.
That's the other fascinating thing is just when TNA talent would leave or Ring of Honor talent would want to go, the negotiating thing was usually with the other side of this rather than the WWE, who would usually just pass on them because it's like, well, you're not our type or you've worked somewhere else and we don't want you. Mm-hmm. So they'd always use the other to leverage. And now you have AJ Styles opening basically for TNA. That's interesting.
AJ Styles tweeted out, the best wrestling in the world is coming to Destination America. This is a guy who left TNA, and TNA has fallen apart since.
Joe would be a part of that if he decided to show up on ROH TV. The Young Bucks were part of TNA for a while.
So a question I want to ask you, Jeff
Okay.
Hawkins.
Yes.
PWG Mystery Vortex 3. Who is Kurt Angle wrestling in the main event?
Well...
Who is the team of Loki and MVP going to work? The Beaver Boys?
Team Tremendous.
Team Tremendous. You have Lucha Underground. We jumped the gun a little bit because apparently Univision sent out a press release saying Lucha Underground was renewed for season 2, and that apparently is not the case yet. They retracted that.
Ooh.
So you do not have a season 2 of Lucha Underground announced, but the fact that that press release was even created means it's coming close. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming. You're going to have Lucha Underground on TV. You're going to have NXT at 8. You're going to have Ring of Honor at 8. And then total nonstop action Impact Wrestling from 9 to 11. A lot of wrestling on Wednesday.
You're cannibalizing your fan base.
I don't know if they are, though.
Well, I mean, there's only a certain number of people who like wrestling.
Right.
And within that, you have a subset of hardcores who are devoted to your product. So you're basically fighting for a very limited amount of people for 4 different products.
Well,
It's going to
be. I don't think everyone is going to have. Not everyone will have increased numbers because TNA is already decreasing their numbers, but it adds to the excitement level, right? Because NXT has never been more exciting than it is now. It's never had as much buzz as it does now. Lucha Underground is still pretty buzzworthy. Maybe not as much when they first started, but still pretty buzzworthy.
But overall, in terms of, you have the same number of fans, it's just going to be, the pie is split a little bit differently. You're not bringing in more outside people into your product necessarily, I don't think.
NXT,
I don't think anybody's going to turn to Destination America and go, well, I didn't like TNA, but let me give this Ring of Honor a try. If they don't like wrestling in the first place.
Right. It's a destination program.
Yeah.
You're not flipping channels and coming across it and probably sticking around for it.
Exactly.
It's a destination. The question will be, what type of destination is Ring of Honor on Destination America? Because those who are already watching the show, how likely is it for those who are already watching on Ring of Honor's website or over the air on a certain channel that they like, how many of those people will switch to Destination America to watch it? If you have,
people not in those markets who already get it, that's who's who are interested, and that's going to be word of mouth, or people who follow online, or maybe even old HD Net fans who have DirecTV like me and can get Destination America. I think the question, the other part of that question is, okay, after the 8 o'clock hour, do you switch over and watch NXT on demand? Do you stick around for TNA? Do you watch Lucha on your DVR? Or do you just go to bed?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things it's a story today. It's big and buzzworthy because it's a complete shock. The Ring of Honor news going on to Destination America was a complete shock. Right. Yeah,
it's the shock factor, not necessarily the impact on the industry factor.
I've had some people tweeting that this is the most surreal day in pro wrestling, and I understand if it feels like that to you, because some of us perceive different things differently, and some of us perceive what might be a big deal. In the grand scheme of things, this is ROH getting another national TV deal after they already had one. They were with HDNet. They had a national TV deal at one point. This is just another option for them. Okay. So ROH getting their second national TV deal isn't necessarily the most surreal thing to happen. Yes, it's on the same network as TNA, but we all knew TNA was in trouble. You know, this isn't ROH joining up with WWE on USA Network. This is a channel already invested a little bit in a wrestling program that they're just trying to help that investment.
I think it's surreal in that we all thought that wrestling wasn't a wanted commodity on the channel that ROH ended up on.
Yeah. If indeed Samoa Joe, the match with him and AJ Styles on June 20th against The Addiction, Kaz and Daniels, if that indeed is a match for TV, which I don't think it is, and I don't think it was ever planned to be, I believe that's a match that they want to put on last to keep the audience throughout the entire TV taping in New York and also sell out the house. That's what I feel this match is. But say it is going to be on TV. At some point in the next month and a half, not only will you have ROH superstars wrestling New Japan superstars on American national TV, but after that you will have 4 former TNA superstars who were the backbone of the promotion opening up a night in which TNA is struggling on the same channel as TNA for Ring of Honor.
Living well is the best revenge.
This goes back to the fact that Kevin Owens is feuding with both Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, and then also throw in John Cena for the same company. Now you have Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kaz and Daniels wrestling on Destination America, but for Ring of Honor. This is a crazy year we're having. Like the year-end shows that people do, the year-end shows that we do, the year-end retrospectives, when people look back at the end of TNA and the stride of Ring of Honor and the year that was in WWE, where your top heel right now is Seth Rollins, the former Tyler Black, Kevin Owens might make a good case for being the number 2 heel right now, if not the number 1 eventually.
Very strong.
I mean, this is a crazy time we're in, and all those who stayed through the independent scene through the mid-2000s, and I'm kind of one of those people, and there are a lot of people that listen to this show that are like that followed along the indies in the mid-2000s, the glory period, if you will, when Ring of Honor was rising.
That'd be me.
This is your payoff year. Yes, CM Punk is gone and Daniel Bryan is hurt, but this really is your payoff year. It wasn't the year where Daniel Bryan won the world title. It wasn't the year when CM Punk won the world title. Your payoff year for following the indies and following ROH is this year. With the rise of Owens and Zayn, with Samoa Joe possibly being on every single possible TV show you can be on in the United States all in the same year. Like, if he just gets a Raw match one of these days, he will have hit all the jackpots. It's a crazy...
Like I said, like Rick Rude in 97, where he hit ECW, WWF, and WCW.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. You have Wade Keller out there talking about, he's hearing pessimism from those TNA talents. I mean, that's no surprise. I'd be pessimistic too if I wasn't being told things from my company and was worried that I'd even be on the air in 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
Because if TNA doesn't have this TV deal, they're likely done. And we've said that before, but it's not like you can just jump to another TV promotion. What would you be holding events for? They're not touring right now, so they're only holding events to tape TV, but they have no one to tape TV for. I mean, I hope things work out. I hope a lot of these guys will find spaces in either NXT or Ring of Honor or another group that pops up, Global Force. I'm sure Jeff Jarrett would take on a number of these talents.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a crazy time we live in. A crazy time. We will have...
Super Dragon's asking price has just gone up.
Yeah. Come out of retirement, please.
Come on out.
Super Dragon. Oh, boy. Yeah, but it's a crazy time. We will have this audio update up at voicesofwrestling.com. I'm going to insert it into the Destination America Ring of Honor news article. So it'll be at the bottom of there as an audio update. I want to thank those who jumped on in short notice to listen to the live feed at voicesofwrestling.com/STR. You can interact with us on Twitter at Shake Them Ropes. You can follow us, spread the word about our show. If you like the show and you have other wrestling fans who don't know about us, tell them, please. And we hope you guys follow along. We will be back Sunday night live, the same way you're listening to this now. We will be back live on Sunday night after the Elimination Chamber to talk about the big Kevin Owens-John Cena match. So we have a lot to talk about this week. We're not even done, Jeff.
4 shows in a week? Why not?
We are not done. We will be back on Sunday night after the Elimination Chamber live at 11 p.m. Eastern. After that show ends, we hope that you join us here at voicesofwrestling.com/STR. We hope you follow us and have a good rest of your day.